Alright guys, so here we have a third generation Ram 5500 that we have been tasked with putting a motor in. So this is what our job is going to be today. This thing has a rod knock. Unfortunately the GoPro is charging, it doesn't work, so I have to film this intro with my phone, so ignore the fact that it might be a little shaky and the camera quality or the voice quality sucks. But this is what we got to deal with. Oh wow, I like the exhaust. It's kind of neat, actually. So, we are... This open? There we go. Alright, so we are going to be taking this thing, put a motor in it. Oh, I forgot about this nice interior. So yeah. That is what we are going to be doing, and I'm going to get this thing fired up and backed into the shop. Alright, here it is, since I'm going to show it anyway. This is what we were tasked to pull out. So this engine, like I said, has rod knock. I'm going to go through, like I said, we're going to have to start it, unfortunately, to back it in, but for what it is, this thing has fairly low miles on it for what it is. So, let's get in here and, there's a 265 887, so let's get this thing in the shop. Alright, here we are. Here is the engine. Everything is off the front. So now we're just going to start undoing hoses and lines and everything. At some point we're going to get to the tranny, probably do that Monday. So I'm going to pull this belt off, get the power steering pump off, and a couple other things. So alternator looks like it's pretty new, so, and I'll be labeling everything. So So pretty much this is where we are going to leave it for today. I'm gonna come back Monday. For you guys will be like 30 seconds, and all of the connectors are off. Everything is to the side. List of parts. Transmission bolts, the flex plate, flywheel, and pull this back, pull this out, and there you go. All right, so Hotshot Dave had mentioned that they couldn't get the torque converter bolts out of their brand new truck. 270,000 miles, and it looks like they come out just fine. Fine. Alright, here is the new motor. This is out of a 2500, so we got to change some things around. I'm not sure if the mounts are different, but we'll compare. So and here is the old one. Old, new. Alright, so we just got some parts in, exhaust, manifold, seals, crank seal. Working on cleaning up the old intake because the new one will not work because they have a different sensor, and the port right here for the sensor is different, so they have it blocked off on that one. So we're going to do the rear main and then pull all this off. So just cracking away. Motor mounts are done. Pulled off the insulation on here because it's not on the other one, and reused some of the non-rusty bolts as opposed to on this motor they kind of came all rusty, so probably grab a couple more. So do that seal quick. Oh, that metal shavings. Damn. Alright, it's done, ready to go in. Got the intake cleaned out for the most part, everything underneath. Ready to throw her in. Alright, ignore the power stroke. So, we got everything lined up and I had to actually spin the torque converter by hand from underneath to get it to line up with the flex plate. So, that's all good. We're gonna throw some bolts in it, spin it over and good to go. Torque converter bolts are in. Valve covers, some new seals. Oh yeah. Look at them hands. Let me see them hands. Yeah. All right, so we just did our first fire up. The injectors, the old ones, wouldn't even try to fire it. We threw the new one, the old injectors from that motor into the new motor, and this thing fired right up. So we're gonna put the valve cover back on, take this outside, and let it idle and get the cooling system bled. All right, guys, here it is in all of its glory, a 2008 Ram 5500 with a 6.7 Cummins. We just finally got the engine in, done. We've had this thing in for about, since Thursday or Friday, it's been in. And then we got it done on Saturday, finished everything up. Unfortunately, then we had a no crank and we all decided to go home early anyway. So now here we are on Tuesday, and the customer, well, I went through and did a whole bunch of diagnostics on the truck. I used the scan tool, figured out what rail pressure was, figured out basically every little parameter that, you know, what this thing should be. I kind of have an idea of where everything should be, and we discovered that the pressure, the rail pressure was not building. We were getting about 150 psi. Now, I replaced the rail plug because I noticed we were getting a crap ton of fuel return. I took the fuel line off and it was just pissing fuel. So that's definitely a no-no. We also changed because I unplugged the AFC and tried to get the pump to put out max, and it would not. It was also only doing 150. So we replaced the plunger that was in that. And then it came down to the point where, okay, well, CP3s rarely fail. So the customer said, why don't we take the old injectors and CP3, we'll do the injectors first, and then if it doesn't start, we'll take the CP3 because the parts are already there. All that he'll be charged is for the labor. So we took all 6 of the injectors, swapped them in, put a jump pack on it, and sure as shit, the thing fired right up. So now we have a running, driving, I believe, and yes, this is a 2008 with an Ison transmission. So this thing is an absolute unit. You guys can see under here, it's super quiet. Got the DPF and the muffler under here. So, and then full air ride system. So, oh, I didn't even see this too. You got the valve here for both of the, wow, I'm kind of jealous actually. I kind of want one of these. So, but there it is. This thing pulls a 3-car trailer, so it's not like it's pulling any lightweight. But yeah, so ended up getting rod knock, and now we have a new engine in it. Now, before anybody says anything, I don't know if the check engine light's on, but he did kill him in with a few codes for all of the emissions and the transmission. So obviously right there, we got a check engine light for the transmission. We have a transmission code there because there's a TCM problem, and you guys can see the park reverse neutral drive 321. That's all highlighted and everything because the computer's not really making a connection with the transmission. So as this thing shifts, like you can hear this, I'll put it in drive right now. Listen to this. You hear that? Listen to that. It clunks into gear, which is exactly what our 5500 was doing. So TCM problem, that is something that he has somebody else figuring out because I am not a transmission guy. I specifically work on the 5.9 and 6.7 Cummins trucks, as well as some welding and fab work. So I kind of take these mechanic jobs in as a side, but kind of help out the community with the transporters. So yeah, this thing is running awesome. We're gonna get it cleaned up, get all the stuff off the back here, figure out what he wants. I'm not a fan of this headache rack. You guys can see that. I don't really like it. That's got to get annoying, but other than that, like, it's running. Temperature, I gotta clean the door off and everything, but temperature, we'll wait and see where that wants to get to. Now watch the throttle lag. When I hit the throttle, It waits until, yeah, this thing definitely needs a tune, but it waits until you've let off to actually give it throttle. It's kind of like, I remember my 2006 did that. These third gens are kind of weird, but yeah, so there you go. Hope you guys enjoyed.